Welcome, 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 everyone. I see a bunch of familiar faces, some new faces. Glad to see everyone this morning. Welcome to Client Acquisition and Scaling. Happy Monday. This is the place to be every single Monday. This is where we're going to teach you guys to change your mind will change your business, okay? That's why we call it Monday Mindset. We want to change your business, and we're going to do so by changing your mind, changing your mindset. If this is your first time here, welcome. Type first in the comments. If you want SMS reminders, I had some people reach out and say, hey, they forgot, they didn't know what it was. We have an SMS reminder system. So if you'd like reminders 10 minutes before the call starts every Monday on your phone, type SMS in the chat, in the comments. If you're on the replay, type everything we tell you to type as well, and we'll get those to you. Okay. My name is Lisa, if you don't know me, and today I'm going to reveal the number one reason I was struggling in my business, right? Who wants to know? Anybody want to know the number one reason why I personally struggled? If you do, type 1 in the comments below. Type 1. I'm also going to tell you what happened once I figured out why I was struggling, right? What made me realize what that number one thing was, and how did I come in and solve that problem? And I'm also today going to ask you guys some tough questions. And I may even be able to prescribe a little tough love here at the end. You might not love what you hear. But in fact, my goal today is actually to make you very uncomfortable, right? It's only when you get out of your comfort zone that you find the most success in your business. So let's jump in and talk about the number one reason. Seeing a ton of ones. Thank you, everyone. Seeing a ton of ones in the comments. Let's talk about the number one reason you may be struggling as well. Okay. Who's ready? Type me in the comments if you're ready to get uncomfortable. Type me in the comments if you're ready to get uncomfortable. Type me if you're ready to gain some clarity. Maybe you don't want to get uncomfortable, but you want some clarity. Type me. Type me if you're ready to get unstuck. Right? I am wanting you guys, even if you're on the replay, go ahead and participate and communicate. Believe it or not, these things actually help solidify things in your brain, in your mind. Okay, so blow up the comments. We're interactive in here. Now, awesome. Lots of me. Love it. Good mornings. Awesome. I love the energy on a Monday. So let's do this. I want to just start by painting kind of a vivid picture for you, okay? In 2012, about a year after I started my business, I literally started the process of struggling, right? I was pulling my hair out, going a little bit crazy. And no matter how many hours I worked, I just couldn't get caught up, right? I couldn't get ahead in my business, and it felt like I was suffocating. I spent all day, many nights working, and oftentimes feeling defeated, like nothing I did was right, nothing I did was making an impact. And no matter how hard I worked, I felt like nothing was getting accomplished. Guys, do you ever feel that way? I mean, do you ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels almost? And I searched high and low for tools, right? Tools that would fix the predicament I was in. I'm going to stop short of saying easy buttons, but literally I was looking for something that was going to make it easier, that was going to break through, the struggle and stress and really the pain that was happening in my business. And nothing worked, right? I blamed everyone. I blamed everything. Tell me if this sounds familiar. I told myself I had lack of resources. I told myself I had lack of money. I told myself I had lack of tools and technology and lack of contacts, leads, customers, right? These were the reasons. These were the number one reasons, right? That my business were failing. These were the things that were holding me back, the things that were keeping me stuck. Right now, I want you to think about that. Type in the comments which one of these things you think are holding you back right now? What do you think your biggest issue is right now? Is it lack of resources, lack of money, lack of tools, lack of technology, lack of contacts, right? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Let's see. Sounds like my BS, right? What you tell yourself, right? All the time. Poor time management, resources, money, experience, right? Time, catch 22. Yeah, processes. The comments are just blowing up. And again, if you're watching the replay, put in the comments what you think the number one reason you think your business might be failing right now. Okay. I want you to recognize and think this through, right? Seeing a lot of processes, seeing a lot of resources, right? Okay. Who wants to know the number one thing holding me back? Who wants to know the number one thing holding me back? We're going back to 2011, 2012, 2013, when I had first started my business. Who wants to know, right? Who wants to know? I want to hear it. I want you guys to blow it up. Who wants to know? Graham, me, right? Me. I'm seeing a lot of me's. Me. I see folks typing me in the comments. For those of you guys who typed that, you are correct. It was me. It was me. Okay. In fact, every problem I had stemmed from me. Everything stemmed from me. Lack of resources, right? That's what I told myself. But yet I actually had plenty of resources. I just wasn't focused enough at the time to see that. I had bought tools, I had bought stuff, I had people around me. I had plenty of resources, but I couldn't see it. I was blind to it. Lack of money, right? I told myself, well, if I had more money, I could do better. I had all the money I needed. I chose not to spend it on my business. Are you feeling this? I chose me. I made the decision that the money that I had, that leftover money, you don't need much money when you first get started. Every little bit could go towards your business, but instead of doing that, I didn't. I chose not to spend money on my business. I also thought lack of tools and technology were my problem. I had plenty of tools. In fact, I had plenty shiny objects that were still sitting on the shelf that I had never opened, that I paid money for, thinking it was going to solve something. And before I can even get to it, I was off buying the next thing. But a minute ago, I said I didn't have money, but yet now I'm telling you, I was buying tools and technology, right? Because that's what I thought was going to change my business. That's what I thought was going to make an impact, right? Yeah, in the comments, I have more lifetime deals on software than I have time in my life to learn and use them, right? Right? I also thought I had lack of contacts, lack of leads, lack of customers. Yet, I actually stumbled upon some amazing lead gen methods, and they were working. But I didn't double or triple or quadruple my efforts on these lead gen methods, which today doesn't make sense. I actually had methods. Some of them I stumbled upon, some of them I bought through tools or webinars, and they worked. Yet I wasn't pushing them harder or doing more with them, right? So why was I struggling then, right? Why was I struggling? One word, psychology. One word, psychology, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I illustrate that story for you because I want to talk today and share with you the number one reason most people struggle. Most business owners struggle. And 100%, the number one reason, what you came here today to find out, it's psychology. And we're going to dig into that, okay? Psychology, what we think, how we feel, all these things hold us back. They stop us from making good decisions. Our psychology stops us from making the right decisions, right? Our psychology is our mindset. our mindset. It's our greatest decision maker we could ever have, is that psychology inside of us. And it's a huge part of why we struggle, but it could be a huge part of why we succeed if we just learn to understand it and harness it. So I want you to understand that psychology is fueled by emotions, right? Our decisions we make, the thoughts we have, the reactions we have. It's all fueled by emotion. Even when we think we're making decisions based on logic or data or other things, we're not. In fact, studies show that most of the decisions we make are emotional. They're not analytical, they're not data driven. I mean, if you question that, think about the last time you hit that buy button on AppSumo, if that's one of your hangouts. Think about the last time you hit a buy button on any program or course or tool that you bought. Really dig deep and think about why you said yes to that and maybe not something else. We're going to find we make these decisions based on emotions, not on logic, not on data, not on the things we should be making decisions on. In fact, 99% of all decisions we make are based on emotion, right? Based on emotion. What are those emotions, right? What are the emotions we have? Fear. Fear is huge. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Fear is huge. We have worry, a lot of worry, a lot of stress, right? That's an emotion. Stress is actually an emotion. Failure, it's an emotion. Now we might have fear of failure. Now we have double the emotion, right? We have two emotions going on right there. And the decisions we're making are based on our emotional well-being, right? These emotions, and there's a plethora of others, but these emotions actually determine success or failure. And I didn't know that. I didn't understand that when I first started my business. And we're going to talk about why here in a sec. Just knowing what I just told you is not enough, right? It's you have that aha moment, and then literally tomorrow you're going to go back to that place of emotional decision making, right? So how can we make a change? What can we do that will make an impact in our businesses? What can change? What's the one thing you can think of that you have control over? What do you have control over? Throw it in the comment. If you're on the replay, throw it in the comment. What do you think you have control over, right? Leverage. That's the number one thing. You. And people are saying that in the comments. Control over my thoughts, control over me. I can control me and only me, right? We can't control what other companies do, what other business does, what the market does, if there's going to be a pandemic, if there's going to be a downturn, if there's going to be a crisis. We can't control that. So why are we worrying about it? Why are we fearing it? Why are we having all these emotions about things that are outside of our control? And that was me back in the day. Everything I worried about, everything I stressed about, everything got to me. And the decisions I was making, literally bad decisions, were based on things that were totally out of my control. And I learned that the only thing that I have is me, right? You. You can leverage yourself. You are the greatest asset and the greatest tool in your business, right? And love it, love it. Somebody said, stop buying your own bullshit. Yeah, straight up, right? You have to change your mind. And we're not always going to be talking about mind and soft skills on these Monday mindsets. We're going to get into Q&As some weeks. We're going to get and talk to other business owners that are succeeding and have them come on and tell us their experiences. We're going to do lots of stuff. But I couldn't start out the first couple of weeks without really addressing us, right? Us. We have to become business owners instead of business operators, right? We have to learn that we have to be leaders, not managers, not managers. This is important because I went back and I did a lot of self, searching to figure out what was going on back then. I really was trying to figure it out, and I was going through programs like this where I was trying to get clarity. And interestingly, the reason why I was more of a manager instead of a leader is because I spent decades managing people and tasks. That was literally what I was trained to do for decades. I managed people, I managed resources, I managed tasks. That was my job. That is what I did. That is how business worked and how I was taught. So I want you to think right now, kind of dig deep and ask yourself, are the things I'm doing today, am I doing them because that's what I've always done and that's all I think I know how to do? Because that is what was happening in my world, right? When I started my business, it was normal and comfortable to do the same things I'd always done. It felt good, right? Notice the emotion I'm talking about. It felt good. Doing what I always did was comfortable. I was making decisions on emotions. I wanted to feel comfortable. I wanted to feel good. I did not want to be out of my comfort zone. It felt good to feel good. It felt safe to feel the way I was feeling. And more on fear in a minute. But what I was actually doing when I first started my business and well into many years into my business, I was creating tasks and I worked my task list. How many of you guys do that? I had all these tasks and literally I was working my task list, right? The problem was I didn't have the right things on my lists. I didn't have the right content, the right tasks, the right to-dos, because the right ones were uncomfortable. The right ones, I didn't feel safe. I feared them. Again, I was being ruled by my emotions. I was being ruled by my psychology, right? I was busy. I worked plenty. There was no shortage of hours of me sitting in a chair at a desk working. I was doing a lot of that, but I was doing the wrong things, right? I was doing the things that weren't making a difference in my business. So then I spent more hours doing more things that weren't changing my business, that weren't changing my world. And I bet you're likely doing something similar right now. Anyone relating to this? Anyone feeling this? Anyone saying, yeah, I get it, I know it? Even if right now you're saying, I already know this and I know I've known it for a while, but I haven't made that change, that's okay. Give yourself permission, by the way. Give yourself permission to look at your past and say, that's okay, and not kick yourself all the time, right? Yeah, so getting a lot of that, doing that now, 100%. Yep, I am a human. Yes, you are. I know it, but it's hard to make that mental switch. Yes, doing it every day. Right, we're doing it. We know we're doing it. We know it's happening. And yet, I think it was said best, I know it, but it's hard to make that mental switch. It is. It is. It's so hard, right? We feel safe. We feel better. We like that feeling of safety. So today I want to talk about how we make a change to break the cycle, right? It's hard to make the switch. So how do we do that? How do we break that cycle? How do we change from being in a place of fear, in a place of emotion, to a place of success and a place of non-emotion, right? So this week, I want you to try something in your business. I want you to just for 1 week only, right? Last week, if you missed it, go back and watch. But last week I asked you guys, let me know where you are today. Like write it down. We didn't put it publicly, but write it down. Tell yourself where you are today. Tell yourself where you want to be in 1 year. A week has passed. A week has already passed. What have you done? That was my problem. I would get all hyped up. I'd get all excited. And then I would go back to doing what I did and weeks would pass, right? So this 1 week and 1 week only, I want you to stop focusing on skills. No skills. Don't learn another darn thing if it's skill-based, right? And I want you to start focusing on psychology. And what do I mean by that? I want you to look at every task you're doing from the time you get off this call until I see you again next week. Okay? I want you to look at every single task you're doing. And I want you to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Right? What are you doing it for? What's going to happen if you complete this task? How is this going to impact or affect your business? Then I want you to do one more thing for me. I want you to ask yourself, how does this thing, this task, how does it make me feel? Right? How does it make me feel? I think you guys are going to be surprised. I think when you look at all the things you're doing, I think you're going to be surprised by how many things you're doing just because they feel good, right? We're not going after the big rocks. We're not doing the things we know we need to change because these things feel good. They feel safe. They feel better, right? Those aren't the things that typically are going to really move you forward in your business. Those are not those things, okay? In order to feel safe, you're literally holding yourself back. Okay, I'm going to take 1 sec and tell everyone to reset. Some people joined. Moderator, if you can mute everyone. If not, please mute yourself. On these calls, we do not have open mic, so please mute yourself. All right, I want you to ask yourself this week, these tasks I'm doing, are they critical? What would happen if this week I didn't do these things for 1 week? What would happen? Are they impactful? Would they make a big hill of beans? And then I want you to replace those tasks that you say, no, they're not critical. They're not impactful. I want you to stop doing them this week. Give me 1 week, right? We can negotiate next week, but right now just stop doing them and start looking at things that would make an impact, right? I, unfortunately, back in the day, realized I was doing busy work. And if you don't know what busy work is, here's a great example. I spent a week back then. I recall this ever so much. I spent a week, 1 whole week, creating a form that I was going to have customers use to order services from me. It sounds silly right now, doesn't it? A week. I spent a week doing that. Order form. I'll tell you right now, do you know how many times I used that order form? I bet you can guess. 0. That's 1 week of my life wasted. That's 1 week of my business wasted, right? It was busy work. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. So I did what I knew. I did what felt good. And none of those things really changed our business. Because it felt good, because it felt safe. But I was running myself in circles, right? That stops today, if that's you. Today. I needed someone to sit me down and club me over the head with these concepts. That's what it took for me to stop doing that, to pay tens of thousands of dollars to business coaches to tell me to stop doing it. You're getting that here today, absolutely free, right? So I want you right now in the comments, type stop if you want to make that change. If you want to make that change today, commit to it and type stop in the comments. If you're on the replay right now, stop and type stop in the comments. I want this to stop today, okay? Because today we're going to get you out of your comfort zone. We're going to get you out of your comfort zone and we're going to battle those fears and be more strategic, okay? It's time for us to stop running in circles. It's time to stop struggling, right? I want you to get out of that comfort zone and decide, where you want to go and let go of the fear. What you'll see is you'll actually start getting into the zone, right? You know it's going to happen. You know you're going to get distracted. Those shiny objects are going to just glitter and shine in the sun for you, okay? But literally, you have to let them go, okay? Please mute. Please mute. Moderator, please mute everyone. Thank you. Okay, let go of the fear and get in the zone. I want to challenge everybody to figure out what drives you. Figure it out, right? Success is built on mission, not product. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do I mean by that? Well, why are you doing this? Why did you start a business? What was the mission? When you think about your business and you think about the mission statement and you think about corporate mission statements, they're all pretty cheesy, right? I want to go help the world and get world peace. Whatever it is, maybe that is you. Perfect. But for most of us, the mission, helping people is great and it feels good. But the mission was likely get out of my day job, work from where I want, have freedom. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to live a life that's harder than other people? Owning a company, owning a business is hard. It's not the easy button. Yet in our businesses, I do it as well. I'm looking for these easy buttons. That's where we have to really make that mental connection with, oh yeah, it's not easy, right? So I want you to ask yourself this week, sit down and take the time to understand, what is the mission? Why am I doing this? It's not the product. If you took my products away today, tomorrow I would find new products. If SEO and web design and all the things we do in our businesses, whatever you're doing, go out of favor, does that mean you're out of business? If you're a business operator, yes, that's typically what your action would be. As a business owner, as a leader, you change your mindset to say, no, I'll find new products. In fact, in our business, if you didn't realize it already, which I'm sure you have, our products change all the time. Google makes changes. Website design is going through a big change, going from, one-time price to monthly recurring. If you try to stay with what you have, you're going to fail. So business changes. So don't get used to that. Don't get comfortable. That's where you're going to fall behind, right? So ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this? Why did you start your business? And then I want you to feel those emotions. I want you to hear the words that are going through your head. And then I want you to ask this next question. Then what's stopping me? What is stopping me? And be true to yourself, right? Let those emotions, these fears, these stresses, these worries, let it fuel the change. Because being stuck sucks, right? It's horrible. It doesn't feel good. So this week, block the noise, right? Block the noise and tune into your emotions. Think about your why and get emotional with yourself. Stop doing what you've been doing, right? It's not working. At least it hasn't been for me in the past. And that's why I made the changes. That's where I actually made most of my changes. Most people in their business think I was going to come in here and say the number one reason I was failing because I didn't have enough leads. The number one reason I was failing is because I didn't have enough customers. Those are all wrong. The number one reason I was failing back then was me, my emotions, my psychology, the things that were going through my head, the self-doubt, the fear. Those are the things, right? And I had to break the pattern to break through. Okay, write that down if you want. Break the pattern to break through. Stop doing what you normally do. Stop doing what you're used to. Stop doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. I can't tell you how many hours I sat at my desk and I look back now, things that, what a waste of my time, what a waste of my energy, and more importantly, what a waste of my life. We only get so many seconds on this planet. And here I was doing things out of fear instead of doing the right things, okay? Remember, you're likely the reason you are struggling. And I told you I was going to tell you stuff that tough love you probably didn't want to hear. And I told you I was going to ask you questions that were going to be tough, right? We had to look inside. We had to get personal because it's not the tools, right? It's not the technology. It's not your loved ones. It's not the lack of money. It's not the lack of time. It's you. I was holding me back, my emotions. So let's talk about some of those emotions for a second, right? What was holding me back? My emotion, and your emotions are going to be different. Everyone's going to have different emotions that really fuel your struggles. And I mean that. They fuel your struggles. For me, it was fear. Big fear. When I started my business, I feared many, many things. The first one was fear of failure. One of the biggest fears I have was failure. And it wasn't my failure. I was okay if I failed. That didn't quite bother me as much as, what if I failed these people paying me this money? That was one of my biggest fears, right? I would fail the people that paid me money. And so in the beginning, I didn't even spend the money that was coming in because I was so fearful that I was going to fail them. I was fearful they were going to ask for their money back, that I didn't spend the money, right? Another fear is fear of success. I came from a management background. I came from a place where success would mean more management. At least that's what I told myself, because I was not a business owner back then, right? I was a business operator. And all I could think was, if I succeed, if I bring in crazy more business, if I have a ton more customers, I have to manage all those people and I have to manage all that work. I didn't want that. I feared that. Ew, I don't want to do all that. Fear of success. Logically now I tell myself, oh, I'll get somebody else to do that part. Done, right? Because I've changed my mindset. I look at failure now. So my fear of failure is failure I learned from, and I often make more money after I figure it out. So I'm okay with failure now. Fear of success, oh, I'm fine succeeding. I'll find someone to do things I don't want to do and probably make more money because of it. I've had to change my mindset, right? I couldn't fear letting people down. I couldn't fear getting too much work, but those are the things that were holding me back, believe it or not. I was actually holding myself back on purpose, or at least in my mind, right? I wasn't telling myself that. I didn't have this aha moment that said, hey, I'm holding myself back. Doesn't happen like that, right? Somebody else sits me down, this is how it goes back then, and says, what are you doing? And walks me down the path to show me exactly what I'm doing and makes it crystal clear that I'm the problem, not all these other people. I got tough love. I was fortunate enough to be a part of something that wasn't going to placate me, right? Wasn't going to make me feel good. And that is when I changed, right? Back then I had a limited vision. And really, to some extent, I had lack of esteem, right? Confidence. Notice these are all negative thoughts, but they were lurking in my subconscious every single day. They were lurking up there, making me make bad decisions. They were emotions, right? These emotions were controlling every one of my daily decisions, my daily activities, what I did. Does that make sense to everyone? If it makes sense and you're having an aha moment right now, or if this just resonates with you or makes sense, I want you to type aha in the chat, in the comments. If you're on replay, put it in the comments on the replay. If this is making sense, if this is really fueling something in you, this is helping you see that change is coming, type aha, right? Recognition is key. We have to recognize the problem before we can solve it. We have to have that aha moment. And then we have to understand how to fix it. I can just tell you all this stuff today, and it doesn't do a hill of beans if you don't have a way to fix it, right? Understanding these emotions are key. That's big. In fact, that was the number one thing that changed my business. Understanding that I was the problem, I was holding back. When I started understanding that the psychology and the emotions and everything were driving my decisions, that's when I started making the changes. And like magic, things started changing. You know, I stopped struggling and I got unstuck. Now, how do you do that? Well, unfortunately, I don't have time today to give you that. And over the next several months, we are going to dig into a lot of those things. It took me many years, okay, to figure it all out. That's why I built our world-class program that you hear me talk about, our X Success program, because it took me years to figure out, and I condensed everything in 12 weeks, okay? So I want you to understand, to help others figure things out quicker, there's a process. There's things you go through to figure that out. Everything, though, starts with psychology. So let me know in the comments right now if you're ready to make that change today, right? Type change in the comments. I know a lot of you people, I'm looking, some of you faces, some of the names I'm seeing, you're already in the program. I know you're making change. So I expect every one of you guys that are in the program to start writing change in the comments. But hey, if you're not in that program, that's okay. I want you to type change in the comments. Because like I said, over the next several weeks in these Monday Mindsets, we are going to be covering a lot of things that are going to help you change your mindset, right? Awesome, awesome. I love it. Lots of comments. Okay, in a minute, I'm going to tell you how to fast track the process. For those of you guys not in the program, I'm going to tell you about that. But before I do want to address something else, right? I don't want to leave you hanging. Here's the first change you can make this week. Here's something you can implement today, this moment, this week, okay? Forgive yourself for anything you've done in the past, right now. It's the past. We're never going to look back. The only time we want to look back is to figure out how to solve something going forward. Otherwise, it's in the past, it's done. Don't waste your time or energy on any of that, right? Don't be hard on yourself, okay? There's plenty of people that'll do that for you. We want positive energy moving forward, only positive energy, positive thoughts, right? Negativity fuels fear. And both keep you doing what you don't want to do, right? Negativity feeds fear. Fear kills your dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear is paralyzing. And all fear stems from negativity. That little thing that gets in your head and then it grows and grows. It's like a cancer. It gets in there and you can't easily get it out, okay? These things stop you from doing what you know you can do. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You may as well just get it over with. And I want you to fail. I give you permission, and I'm telling you right now, I want you to fail. Who cares if you fail? Make mistakes. Once I learned this truth, I attacked my business with a vengeance, guys. When I started figuring this out and I started getting all the pieces to the puzzle, so to speak, I really just dug in and I failed many times. I failed in sales. I failed in processes. I failed in some of the products. There were products I went down those paths and I was like, ooh, this is not a good fit. And I had to come back. That's okay. I learned from every single thing. But more importantly, I was starting to get out of my comfort zone. I was starting to do the things that it takes to succeed, even though sometimes we have to fail to do so. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to tell you something Zig Ziglar once said, right? The word fear. And I'm sure you've heard this, but I'm going to reiterate it. The letters F-E-A-R, fear, in his mind stood for false evidence appearing real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Tell yourself that's all in my head. It's all in my head. Easier said than done. I get that. This is going to take work. But now I want you to think of me every single time you start making decisions out of fear. When there's a decision to be made, I want you to think, why am I making this decision? Why am I leaning towards this? Oh, because that's the safe decision. Is safe right? Not always. Sometimes, but not always. You have to get the emotion out of the decision to make the best decision, okay? What happens when we fail? We learn, right? Nothing bad happens. Nobody comes down and takes our business away. Nobody comes down and gives us, a ticket. We don't get arrested, right? Most importantly, we face the fear that's holding us back. If our fear is spending money, because you might lose it, you're always gonna do things that in some cases aren't the best spend of money, right? There's always gonna be times where you lose money and make a bad decision. Don't worry about that. Let that go. Make the mistake, get it over with, get it out, get it done so we can move on, right? Because over time, what happens when you continually push yourself like this, we stop letting the fear control us, right? We start making smart decisions based on data, on fact, on logic, right? And that moves our business forward quickly. It helps us, coming up with a plan, knowing what we want to do. So I'm going to ask you today, and I told you last week, I'll be talking about our programs as well, right? And if you're uncomfortable with that, that's probably not a good fit. In this group, we're going to give you a lot of value, but we're never going to tell you how, because that is what our program is built on, right? In 12 weeks, we show you how, we tell you how, we bring you through what's going to take several months or even years being in this group. So I'm going to talk about the program. So a plan, right? A plan to get it done. 3 weeks ago, we started another flight of live interactive students going through the program, right? And that is still open to you. It closes next week. You will not hear me say this again for another 8 weeks. You will not hear me ask you to join our program again. Next week, we're going to ask you one more time, and then we're done. And the reason being is because this live program happens in a sequence that you need to be a part of. Okay. So today, if you're not already in our program and you want to fast track your business, you want to learn everything, right? The nuggets we give on Mondays are great. We're going to start giving you more and more value and cooler things. But at the end of the day, if you want to get everything in 12 short weeks, have a plan like I learned over those years and walk through in 12 weeks instead of months or years. Our program does that. Okay. I'm not going to show you a link. There's no buy button, anything like that. Okay. If you want to make a change and you are interested to learn more about the program, what I want you to do is type fast track in the comments. What's going to happen? Somebody from my team, right, is going to contact you to schedule a strategy session. That session is with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and talk to you about your business, see where you're at, see if this is even a good fit. If it is, I'll tell you about it. If it's not, you're going to walk away with a little bit of clarity and some strategy for your business. Okay. Now, I'll illustrate this. I don't know. I didn't see who all joined. I didn't keep up with that. So I don't know if Colin is on the call. You guys are going to be hearing from Colin. Here's a teaser. Colin is going to come on, and pretty soon he's going to do what we call a hot seat here on one of the Monday calls. And he's going to tell us everything that happened, how he went from struggling to actually succeeding. And he may be on the Zoom call today. I don't know. Colin, if you're on, say hello in the chat. But I bet he's off really hyper-focused on his business because that's what he's been doing. So he jumped on a strategy call like I'm offering you today, right? And he joined the X Success program. In that call, he set 3 goals. He wanted to achieve those 3 goals in 60 days. The first goal was to get 2 hours a week back. The second goal was to make X number of solid dollars one time. And then the third goal was to make X dollars in recurring money. I'm not telling you because when he comes on the hot seat, we're going to ask him those questions. You're going to hear live from him. All I can tell you is he blew his goals out of the water and he did it in less time. And the reason he did it is because he had a strategy. He had a plan. We have a solid plan. He had a program showing him exactly what to do, and he had accountability, which is what, even coming here on Mondays, guys, if this is all you do and you don't join the program, this is your accountability, right? That all happened for him in one strategy session. So that's the first step if you want to make change. So if you guys got value out of the live stream, if you'd like to strategize about, just getting your business to the next phase, again, you're going to drop fast track in the comments below. Now, all you're signing up for is a strategy session with me. That's all you're signing up for. If you're watching the replay, type fast track if you'd like to jump on a call with me. Awesome. Okay. Today, I'm going to leave you with a quote. And I have this up so I can read it. The only thing that's keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. Let me repeat that. The only thing that's keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. Remember, guys, when you change your story, you change your life. This group is all about change your mind to change your business. Thank you guys for joining us for our Monday Mindsets. I just want to remind you that in some of these, I talk, we get off, and that's it. But in others, we're going to have live Q&A sessions, and those are coming up as well, where the only thing we do that week is focus on one topic, and I field your questions, we do Q&As, and we talk. We'll have other weeks where we do what I called hot seats, where we actually bring people on who have had success, and we talk to them about what changes they made, how they were able to get success, and maybe you can discern, some cool things from there. So every week will be just a tad different. I appreciate you coming, being a part of this. The last thing to remind you, if you want to get those SMS reminders, type SMS in the comments, and you can actually get on the list to get those. We send them out about 10 minutes before this starts in case you forget, and it has the link there. So guys, have a productive, profitable week, and I'll see you next week.